Do you know what the New York Jets record was around this same time last year going into week 11 with Zach Wilson? They were 3-7. Do you know what their record is now going into week 11 this year with Aaron Rodgers? They're 3-7. So if you were 3-7 last year with Zach Wilson and you're 3-7 this year with Aaron Rodgers, that means nothing has changed. This team didn't get better. And in some capacity, you can say that the New York Jets got worse when you brought in Aaron Rodgers, who has proven to be nothing but a cancer to this organization. If you were 3-7 around this same time last year with Zach Wilson, and you're 3-7 now with a guy who was supposed to be a massive upgrade over Zach Wilson, it shows you that Aaron Rodgers has been really toxic to this Jets franchise. He got Robert Saleh fired, and before Robert Saleh got fired, this was a defense that was only giving up 17 points per game. Since Robert Saleh has been fired, they've gone from giving up 17 points per game to 25.8 points per game, and they still aren't winning. They're 1-4 since Aaron got Saleh kicked out the door. And it's funny how Aaron was quick to throw Mike Williams under the bus, and then all of a sudden, Mike Williams gets traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he catches the game-winning touchdown against the Commanders. Mike Williams scored just as many points by himself as what the Jets scored as a team against the Arizona Cardinals today. The Arizona Cardinals are a good team, but for the talent that the New York Jets have on that roster, nobody expected them to get clobbered and taking the pound town the way they did against the Arizona Cardinals. And Aaron Rodgers got tremendously outplayed by Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray was the more superior, more talented quarterback. Aaron Rodgers looked old. He looked slow. As good as what Aaron Rodgers is and the legend that he is, he can't overcome the dysfunction of the New York Jets organization while also contributing to part of it, because he made this situation a clown show when he got all of his former Packers buddies, Alan Lazard, you get Devontae Adams, you get that doofus, Nathaniel Hackett as the head coach. The New York Jets were never serious about winning. Because if you're serious about winning, you're not going to sacrifice control. You're not going to sell your soul to do so. When Robert Saleh, Woody Johnson, and the rest of the Jets front office flew all the way to the West Coast to get on their knees and suck up to Aaron Rodgers to get him to not retire and play for this franchise, they gave up all the power that they had. All the say-so went to Aaron Rodgers at this point. You had to listen to Aaron Rodgers every beck and call. And all that's done is put the Jets in a worse situation than what they already were when they had Zach Wilson at quarterback. Because the difference between this year's team and last year's Jets team is that, yeah, you weren't that good with Zach Wilson, but the team showed a lot of fight. The team had a lot of heart. The team played with a lot of soul and passion. You don't see that this year. This team looks heartless. They look soulless because Aaron Rodgers has sucked all the energy out of the room. This is somebody who has came out publicly after a game in a post-game press conference and said that, we got to become one with the darkness. We just got to embrace the darkness. Yeah, any quarterback of mine that's saying that, any quarterback that's missing days of mandatory minicamp to go do drugs, isn't a guy who's a great leader. He's not somebody who's going to change the culture of my organization. You can say that the New York Jets are cursed, but Aaron Rodgers has done nothing more but further continue to the curse or contribute to the curse of the New York Jets not being able to win. And you've only beaten one team this season that's had a winning record, and that was the Houston Texans. And it turns out that win showed more about how bad the Houston Texans are than it shows how good you are. Because you turn around and you lose a game to a Cardinals team that you were favored to beat. Aaron Rodgers has been a cancer to the Jets organization. with how he's gone about handling things with Robert Saleh. Listen, I get that Robert Saleh was not a great coach, but he's better than Jeff Ulbrich, and the performance on the field from this defense indicates that. You go from only giving up 17 points per game to allowing a whopping 25.8 points per game. That's coaching. And it's hard to win games in this league when you are a poorly coached football team, regardless of how talented your quarterback is. Aaron Rodgers, even if he still was in the peak of his career, he wouldn't be able to make the Jets any more better than what they already are because he got Robert Saleh fired. Robert Saleh knew what he was doing. He may not have been a winning football coach, but you probably wouldn't be 3-7 right now or 3-6 right now if you still have Robert Saleh. You probably could have beaten the New England Patriots. You probably could have gave Arizona a more competitive game if you would have kept Robert Saleh, because they wouldn't have been hanging 31 on you with ease with Robert Saleh still being the head man. He had this defense playing great football, inspired football, as a matter of fact. And I still find it crazy how his defense held the Minnesota Vikings to the worst performance on offense at that time. And yet Aaron Rodgers throws all these doggone interceptions. And yet you're the one who gets the pink slip. The New York Jets are just a complete clown show. And Aaron Rodgers is the main reason for it. He's been a cancer to this organization because he's further set this franchise back than, moving this franchise forward. He was supposed to end the New York Jets fan base long-lasting history of pain and torture of always being disappointed watching this club. And all he's done is further contribute to the torment that Jets fans have been through all these years, because for once in a decade, Jets fans actually had a reason to be optimistic. They actually thought that they could be a Super Bowl contender this year if Aaron Rodgers at the helm. Everybody thought that Aaron Rodgers was the missing piece. And all Aaron Rodgers has been is the big part of why the Jets are what they've been for so many years. Dysfunctional, poorly coached, poorly ran, poorly operated. Everything about this franchise is bad. And Aaron Rodgers is not part of the solution. He's part of the problem. If I'm a new head coach and I take this Jets job, and I'm a general manager and I take this job as well, I don't want Aaron Rodgers back. I just don't. With what he's done this season, getting these guys fired, not having this team playing better than what they were with Zach Wilson, it shows you that you're just better off without them than you are with them. You were better off sticking with Zach Wilson than you were Aaron Rodgers.